The Pope, the spiritual leader of the Roman Catholic Church and the figurehead of over 1 billion Catholics around the globe, has over centuries shaped not only the religious lives of the faithful, but also the course of world events. The office of the papacy has witnessed moments of profound spirituality, deep political intrigue, triumphs, and controversies. From humble beginnings, it has grown into one of the most powerful and revered positions in the world. The origin of the papacy started with one man, Peter the Apostle, a humble fisherman from Galilee. According to Catholic tradition, Jesus Christ himself appointed Peter as the leader of his followers, telling him, "You are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church." It was a statement that laid the foundation for the role of the Pope as the spiritual successor to Peter. After the crucifixion of Christ, Peter and the early Christians faced brutal persecution in the Roman Empire. Tradition holds that Peter made his way to Rome, the capital of the empire, where he would eventually be martyred, crucified upside down under Emperor Nero's orders in the mid-1st century AD. With Peter's death, the first seeds of the papacy were planted. His martyrdom in Rome established the city as the center of Christian leadership. Over the next few centuries, bishops of Rome assumed leadership over the growing Christian communities across the Roman Empire. The early popes and bishops such as Linus, Clement, and Sixtus operated in a world where Christianity was still an illegal and persecuted faith. These were dangerous times for the nascent church. Christians were hunted, tortured, and killed for their beliefs. But despite the dangers, the early popes began to establish the structures of the church, gradually taking on a more organized form. The 4th century brought a turning point in the history of the papacy. The Roman Emperor Constantine's conversion to Christianity and the subsequent Edict of Milan in 313 AD ended the persecution of Christians and legalized the faith. This newfound acceptance allowed the church to grow rapidly, and with it, the authority of the Bishop of Rome, what would eventually become the Pope, began to rise. By this time, the Pope was not only a spiritual leader, but also a key political figure in the Roman Empire. As Christianity spread, the Pope's influence extended across Europe and the Mediterranean. In the 4th century, Pope Sylvester I played a significant role in shaping the Council of Nicaea, a gathering of Christian leaders convened by Constantine to address theological disputes within the Church. This was one of the first instances where the papacy asserted itself as the unifying authority within Christianity. In the 6th century, Pope Gregory I, known as Gregory the Great, was instrumental in shaping the medieval church. He reformed the church's structure, promoted missionary work, and strengthened the papal administration, ensuring that the Pope would remain a central figure in European affairs for centuries to come. Gregory the Great also took steps to maintain the moral integrity of the church, emphasizing pastoral care and advocating for the poor. In the 9th and 10th centuries, the papacy was mired in what some historians call the papal pornocracy, a period where several popes were accused of corruption, immorality, and even murder. These were dark times for the church, as powerful Roman families vied for control of the papal throne, turning what was once a holy office into a political prize. One of the most notorious examples of this corruption was Pope John XII, whose papacy in the 10th century was marked by debauchery and excess. He was even accused of using the Lateran Palace as a brothel. By the 11th century, the Pope had become a significant political force, challenging the power of emperors and kings. The investiture controversy, a conflict between Pope Gregory VII and Holy Roman Emperor Henry IV, highlighted the growing tension between church and state. This dispute centered on who held the authority to appoint bishops, an issue that went beyond mere religious appointments and into the heart of political control. Gregory VII's assertion that only the Pope had the power to appoint bishops was a bold statement of papal supremacy, and his eventual excommunication of Henry IV marked a turning point in the relationship between the papacy and European rulers. At the height of its power, the papacy became the driving force behind one of the most consequential events in medieval history, the Crusades. In 1095, Pope Urban II issued a call to arms, urging Christians to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim control. The First Crusade was launched, and over the next 2 centuries, the Pope would continue to inspire and lead religious wars aimed at securing Christian dominance in the Middle East. This resulted in immense bloodshed and strained relations between Christians and Muslims. Even within Christendom, the Fourth Crusade, which resulted in the sacking of Constantinople in 1204, worsened the schism between the Roman Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church. By the time the Renaissance rolled around, the papacy had become one of the wealthiest and most powerful institutions in Europe. Popes like Julius II and Leo X were not only religious leaders, but also patrons of the arts. They commissioned works from artists like Michelangelo and Raphael, whose masterpieces, such as the Sistine Chapel ceiling and St. Peter's Basilica, remain symbols of the Church's influence on Western culture. Yet, this opulence also led to criticism. The lavish lifestyles of the Renaissance popes and the selling of indulgences, a practice where the Church offered forgiveness for sins in exchange for money, provoked outrage among many Christians.